coming out here.
Thank you, T-Rod. I appreciate you for letting me do this. It's an honor for me. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. Come on in. We're still under construction, but pretty well put together. Because the guys go right into this bike, you know what I mean? This is like the top of your conversation here. You have $60,000 choppers, but everybody comes up to this thing. This is a replica of a World War II bike. Now, it's the guy that built it spent a lot of money making it look old, but it's actually pretty new. It's got a 47 knucklehead front end, and everything else is built to look the era. This is going to end up being our parts getter. This town is a motorcycle town. The city of Temecula loves bikers and hot rodders, so being that it's got all the metal bags and everything, we're going to use it for picking out parts. I'm going to get a replica Tommy gun to go on the sheet out front and see how far I get to the parts store before I get pulled over. And for now, this is this bike I've been building for me. It's a 50 panhead, original motor, original transmission. I'm gonna name it Pandemic because we actually built it during the pandemic. And this bike's gonna belong to my son. My son's only 3 years old, but when he gets old enough, he's gonna have this bike. Always wanted one of these, you know, from the old, I don't know, were you a Peter Fonda or a Billy bike more of a, would you like the chopper, the Captain America, or the short bike? I like the short bike better.
Short, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of like that look right here, you know, with those Z bars and everything. I think there's a lot of choppers out there, but there's only a few of these. This is, you know, I thought at first 3,000 square feet was going to be big enough, but we outgrew this place. We just put this place together in January, and we've been open since. Everything from going back to the old days when I was doing hot rods. This is a car we're doing for a brother, and it's got a chop top. It's going to have an LS motor with twin turbos. We're doing the roof area right now, a lot of sheet metal. I'm gonna finish up, it's gonna have a solid roof. This is where we do some of the wrenching. Now I've worked on FXRs my whole life. I remember when I had to learn how to work on twin cams.
Yeah?
Yeah, so to me the Evos are a pretty familiar motor, man, and a lot of the guys bring me the FXRs because nobody knows how to, you know, there are little secrets to them, there are little details. You know, an Evo is a different motor than a twin cam. Twin cam is a throwaway motor. That's when Harley switched to kind of like the throwaway motor because it's really hard to rebuild them. You know what I mean? The rather just throw them away and get a new lower end rather than rebuild the lower end. Well, the Evos, you got to pay a lot more attention because there's all kinds of different parts that can go different ways, and you just got to put them together right.
So tell me, how do you get into even starting something like this? Because this is like amazing. Like, what made you take it to creativity level, like I'ma actually build things like this?
Yeah, as a kid, man, my family, we grew up in Argentina, South America.
Oh, okay.
And they were all Formula One people. My uncle is a 4-time Formula One champion down there. And my family just was all about cars, race cars, and every weekend we'd be out the track, testing, tuning, you know, prepping race cars for some of the #1 contenders down there.
Wow.
And I learned as a kid, playing in my dad's shop. I would sit there and play like I was driving this car that would be on Sunday on TV, you know, with the #1 number on it, you know?
Yeah.
So it was cool, and I kept it going. But I like motorcycles better than cars, though.
Yeah.
So I started getting all the tattoos and, you know, getting in trouble when I was, 18 years old, 19, I got my first Harley, and it was all, people say downhill from there, but to me it was uphill.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't trade it for anything else, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little bit of everything. This is the latest. This is the latest creation right here. I did a 9-month job, the contract with Tesla, and we built the electric semi trucks with my little brother Richie that runs the fab shop over there. And coming out of there, I had a pocket with a little bit of cash, and I figured I'd build this thing. We built this bike in 4 weeks. I mean, I'm talking
4 weeks.
Yes.
That's
welding
insane.
the frame together, building the motor, doing the sheet metal for the gas tank. It's all handmade. And never ever sat in one of these or even raced one. Built it, finished it, went right to the track, right on the 8th mile, and punched it all the way through.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
So what's the significance of this right here?
That's a wheelie bar. This bike right here will basically stand straight up. Because once that tire gets traction, then you got about 10.5 inches of traction here, solid. and it would actually go straight up, maybe like do a backflip. So what this thing does, it keeps it from coming up, and it, you know, and if everything's working correctly, half the track you go down on the wheelie bar and the rear tire. The front tire doesn't hit.
Oh.
So I mean, it's.
So this actually goes in the air.
Yes, this goes in here, and these little wheels are the ones that hit right here.
Wow.
So I mean, it's the gnarliest thing I ever did, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted to build it for me, because I don't have the money to build it for somebody else. So I said, you know what? It was fun building it, and the moment of realization is when I'm right there sitting on top of this thing, and it's running, and I'm like, holy shit! Now I gotta ride this stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like, what did I get myself into? You know what I mean? It's like, I was watching a special on Evel Knievel one time, and he was like, they're like, how did you do it? And he said, well, all the seats were sold, the stadium was full of people, I already paid to see me, and I was scared to death, but it's too late to turn back.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the same feeling on this thing, man.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I always say, I lost my dad to cancer, he died in a hospital bed. That's not the way I want to go. If I'm lucky enough, I'll go on one of these.
Yeah.
Doing what I love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a type of life that absorbs everything in your being. Because, I mean, you have so much fun building these things, you have so much fun riding them, and then on the weekends you go riding with your buddies, and it becomes a way of life.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than just a hobby for some people, you know?
So how does someone get with T-Rod and get something made of this level? How hard is it to get T-Rod to like get, if I wanted like something like this, like how would I, you know, reach out to T-Rod and really make that happen? Like, because I know this takes a long time to like.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The shop is called Temecula Speed Shop. We're out here in Temecula, and we cater to everyone, from drag racing to street bikes to just high performance engine work. We do a lot of work for other shops because they don't have the know-how or the equipment. Mm-hmm. We are the shop that other shops come to when they need something built.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard to find people as an employee because you need somebody with a complete skill set.
Yeah.
It's not like a toolbox where you just have one screwdriver. You need a guy that's got a screwdriver, a hammer, a wrench, baling wire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to know how to weld, fabricate, build motors, do electrical. We do everything here except for the paint. And everything takes quite a bit of time, but I can, you know, I make an appointment with people that want to look at these things and have an idea on how they want to go about it and build it for them. A lot of these things are made to fit, because when you're on this bike, you gotta be comfortable. You gotta have the right reach. You gotta have your feet on the right. So I would measure the way you sit on the bike and then build it for your specific function. You know, whether it's drag racing or street racing or whatever.
Yeah.
And the motors, in the motor department, we've been pretty successful too, man. And that's always been a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
Because I started as a fabricator, but I started getting into the motors, and it's been fun. It's my personal bike, and it's actually my test mule, because I don't experiment with people's money. That's the one thing I'll never do. So if I'm gonna build something that's gonna be kind of cutting edge, I do it with my own parts, my own money, to make sure that I'm fair to everybody, you know? This is a 2014 Dyna that was injected with a 103. And I got rid of the injection complete, put a 45 Mikuni carburetor, and I built it into a 110. Now, to build a 103 into a 110, without using all the expensive S&S parts, you have to take apart the lower end, take apart the cases, you gotta hog out the cylinder holes on the case. So a lot of machining went involved. We did our own porting on the heads, we did our own measuring of, you know, cams and lift and spring pressure and all that. So by the time we're done, this is 140 mile an hour Dyna all day long. And it's got plenty of horsepower. I wanted to do it with a car because most of the guys with the injection, you gotta go get a tuner and you gotta go get a dyno, and you're in thousands of dollars later. So instead with a carburetor, I can always tune it the way I want it. Just to kind of show the fuel injection guys that carbs are still competing, you know?
Yeah.
But let me show you something else. You follow over here. Now, this is something I always wanted. You know, a lot of guys will say, this is where the magic happens, to show you the bedroom, but You know, this is really where the magic happens. This is the clean room. This is where we build the motors. There's quite a few projects over there for other shops. We have all the equipment to do it. This is a boring bar. The bore of the cylinder is bigger. That's where you go from like a 80 inch to a 110 or, you know, a 96 inch or different sizes. There's a hone. There's all the measuring equipment. This machine, some of these machines are custom made, like this one here. This one measures the valve travel, spring pressure. Because it's not just throwing a cam on a bike and going fast. A motor is like a meal. It's like a recipe. You know, you can't go to the chef and go, hey, how do I make lasagna? Well, he's gonna tell you, first you gotta get this, you gotta cook it like this, you gotta make the dough like that, you gotta cut the meat like this, and a motor is the same thing. There's a science to it, but once you develop all the measuring and you have everything like a recipe, it's simple, you know? And you gather those recipes as you go along, building motors, and then you have your own little book of, like, you know how a coach has got a book of plays? Yeah. Same thing. You can say, T-Rod, I want you to build me a motor with this much horsepower. I got this much money. Okay, let me go and look at my book of plays. If I put this cam, this piston, do this kind of port job, you're gonna get this much horsepower for this much money. Yeah. So there's no secret, you know, it's like it's all science. Once you get the mathematics done, you're good to go. And for that, it takes a lot of money. I mean, we have equipment here that's, you know, digital calipers, is all Mitutoyo, it's all top of the line stuff. I mean, just to hone a cylinder, to make a piston go up and down, you gotta measure things within 2.5 thousandths of an inch. A human hair is 2 thousandths of an inch. Wow. So those are the tolerances that we got to work with. Yeah. Otherwise, the motor is going to seize or it's going to have problems. So you know, if you're going to go into venture into motor building, you gotta have the right stuff. Otherwise, you're just guessing with people's money, basically. Yeah. For example, this thing right here. This is the next motor for the drag bike. This motor is it's a fuel motor. Fuel it's a word we use for nitromethane. Now, nitromethane is something you don't want to play with. Basically, this is a controlled explosion, a controlled bomb underneath you. Wow. So yeah, when you run motors like this, you run straps that go over the motor. In case the motor blows up, it doesn't explode right underneath you, it goes sideways. And you wear a bulletproof vest because when this explodes, it's like a grenade. Wow. So right now, the motor we're running is an alcohol motor. So we use methanol instead of nitro. We will graduate to nitro eventually, but you know, I want to take my time, get to know everything, make sure everything's perfect. Because this is 10 grand, for example, unassembled. Wow. By the time the motor's done, it's going to be probably about 15, 16,000. And one time you can blow it up and it's gone. Wow. That money is gone and half your chest is gone. So it's not a joke. I mean, this is when you really get to the nitty gritty of racing, you know? So you just started young and just was messing up bikes, blowing them up, and then you got good at it over the years? Yeah. You know what? And it was fun. And as I was doing fabrication and doing custom stuff, people would be like, hey, who made that? I did. Hey, can you make it for me? Sure. And it started as a hobby that became a business. And I was working 2 jobs at first, trying to make my dream shop make as much money as my regular job. And when it did, then I took the jump. Yeah. But I had a 1,000 square foot shop and I was living in it. Yeah. My office was my bedroom. Nobody knew. I had a futon that was actually my bed. And I had a file cabinet that was my closet. I kept my clothes in it. That's the American dream. You're your own boss. You're doing what you love to do. That's amazing. You know, I can tell you, man, coming from Argentina, a third world country, I mean, when people complain about this country, they have no idea. Yeah. If they ever went down to a place like that and try to make a living, they come back and they kiss the ground as soon as they get off the plane. Yeah. This is the best country in the world, man. Yeah, it is. People take it for granted, you know? Yeah. Look at me, I came here with a suitcase. Wow. When I was 14 years old, and we built all this just by working. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah, thank you, man. You're a creator, man. You create things. Yeah, you know what? But the most fun I have is destroying things. It's kind of weird. Once in a while, I like to break shit just for fun. You know what I mean? I guess it's the opposite of creating. Like you create so much that at one point you just like to see something blow up or something. You know?
Yeah, build and destroy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of my buddies got a demo in their house. Fuck, I'm the happiest guy there with a sledgehammer beating on everything. Yeah. Because you create during the day, and why not just wreck some shit at night?
Yeah.
Yeah.